So to bring it back up to the current time, Martelly, using, in fact, money from the Petrocaribe Fund, gets his protege into power. That's a guy called Jovenel Moïse, who is the current president. And Jovenel proceeds much along the same lines, basically a corrupt mafia, a clown mafia, I call it, plundering the state coffers. But at the same time, Donald Trump has come into power, and Trump, one of the first things he does with his neocon group is to slap sanctions on Venezuela. Well, pretty soon, by the end of 2017, Moïse came in February of 2017. By October, November, Haiti could no longer, or at least had a good excuse not to, if they could no longer pay Venezuela any funds because of the blockage that the sanctions put on getting money to Venezuela. So essentially, by the beginning of 2018, the Petrocaribe deal was done. Mm-hmm. And now a new boss steps in, and that is the International Monetary Fund. And they, of course, have a much different vision than Hugo Chavez. And they say to Moïse, listen, you got to slash your state payrolls, you've got to hike the gas price, and you have to squeeze the people. Right. And essentially they tried to do that last July, and that was really the beginning of this latest 10-month period now. We're going to the 10th month of uprisings because they tried to hike gas prices up to 50% last July. The people went into the streets. They shut the country down. 3 days, nothing was happening. Schools, businesses, everything was closed. And basically it's been at least one, or sometimes two, three, or four huge demonstrations every month. And the latest one came in February when the anniversary of Jean-Claude's departure, February 7th, is usually the date. But this came after the Jovenel Moïse government really put a cherry on top of the sundae by stabbing a knife in the back of the Venezuelans. They given Haiti $4.3 billion of oil revenue, and they voted Washington, the Organization of American States, what Cuba aptly calls Washington's Ministry of Colonial Affairs, against Nicolas Maduro, saying he was illegitimate. Here's Nicolas Maduro, who gets 70% of the vote, being called illegitimate by Jovenel Moïse, who had less than 20% of the vote, and even that was extremely controversial. I mean, less than 20% of the electorate came out to vote for him.
So I'm saying, so basically, even if you were to dispute, and I have frankly, my position on Venezuela in opposition to a coup and interference there does not hinge on this one way or another. My opinions of Maduro might, but I just want to underline that even if you were to accept the view that Maduro's last election was irregular in the parlance, it would still be on a spectrum of irregularity where President Moïse is much more extreme in terms of questionable outcome. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but essentially, the Haitian people who are totally opposed to Washington's campaign against Maduro in Venezuela are up in arms about that. And so this made the uprising that began on February 7th very strong and sharp. And for 10 days, basically, the Haitian government was, the country of Haiti was, in the words of the demonstrators, locked down. Yeah. And there was nothing happening. And everybody thought that Moïse would go. But essentially, since they've towed the line with Washington and become, one of Trump's lackeys, he, in fact, was invited at the end of last month to go to Mar-a-Lago with the other Caribbean countries that voted in favor of Pence's OAS resolution. ever since then, there's been a constant stream of U.S. Officials going to Haiti, making all kinds of promises, saying, let's have dialogue. So now, essentially, we're in a period of sort of reconfiguration. The prime minister, and we can get to that when we talk about the mercenaries too, was ousted. And there's a new prime minister, and there's really a reformulation in the opposition. So we're in a period where it's kind of a stalemate at this point, but definitely Jovenel Moïse is on the ropes. And the IMF has given Haiti a $229 million loan over the course of the next 3 years. But it's just basically throwing good money after bad. The strings on the loan are still, you got to squeeze the people, you got to raise the gas prices, and you got to slash state budgets.
You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.